Well, I've got the engine all cleaned up, split, put back together. I've done the timing side and the transmission. I'm getting ready to reload the primary case with the primary drive and the clutch and the alternator, and then I'll drop the whole unit onto the bike and as a unit. Then I'll put the top end on with the engine in the frame. A couple of interesting hints here. When you're putting the 20 roller bearings into the clutch hub, an easier way is if you use a small magnet to insert the bearings. Now I can't really do this one-handed. I'm pretty sure the magnet's going to pull more out than go in, but you can put this in here like so, push it down, slide it to the side. Oh, that's successful. That's an easy way to load the 20 bearings into the clutch hub. Now, when you drop the center hub in place, make sure the 3 bolts are loose so they float. Oops, I just dropped one. Let's start over. Okay, put that down. Make sure they're loose. Drop it on. This is not fun one-handed. Gotta find a better way of doing these videos. So drop that on, like so, press it down. Okay, make sure these are still floating because they have to float. And then you can use the puller. This is a special tool that's used for pulling this clutch off of the main shaft. Okay, and you can take it and make yourself a little adapter like I did here. Like so. Oh, this is so much fun one-handed. Like so. And if you put this into the clutch hub, as if you were using it as a remover, this little bracket right here, when tightened down, will hold the whole thing together. Now you can do anything you want with it and not have to worry about the 20 bearings falling out when you go to slide it onto the tranny main shaft. Once again, it's working one-handed. It's so much fun there. So it makes life a whole lot easier if you make this adapter out of a piece of scrap metal, and life becomes easier. So, helpful hint for you there. Now what I have to do now is put the primary chain and the clutch basket and the front sprocket into here all at the same time. So I have to pick up this whole unit and put it in here as a unit. You can't do it piecemeal. So that's the next thing I have to do, and that's going to take both hands, so I guess that'll stop this video right now. Well, there it is, the clutch and primary drive and alternator and the sump pressure hose and the wires from the alternator, and everything's installed, and it's looking absolutely beautiful, nice and clean, all ready to put the gasket on it and close it up, put the cover on. Isn't that just lovely? And right about now, this is when I sort of glanced over here and noticed, oh my, what's that laying there? Well, that is the sprocket access door that goes behind the clutch, which means I now get to take the clutch and assembly and the alternator and the rotor and the primary drive out of the out of the primary all over again, and put the sprocket access cover into the back of the primary, where I should have put it before putting all this together. So there I am, your very fallible mechanic. And a friend of mine says, actually Kevin says, until you do a job 3 times, you haven't really done it. So This will be the second time on this bike. Hope it's not going to have a third. Well, in our ongoing adventures, Frank's Friendly Bike Shop, Mistakes Made While You Wait, I told you that I had put this all together and had left out the door here that goes here to cover over the chain. It's called the trap door or access door. So I got the one that came with the bike, which is this one, and it was laying there, and it's the one I took out of the bike. And when I went to put it in, I found out that, whoa, it doesn't even come close to fitting around the bushing here properly. It's like rattle loose. So I went down to my good buddy Roger, who buys and sells parts for bikes, these old vintage bikes. And I said, well, do you have an early plate? And he did. He has an early plate. I've cleaned it up. It's got a nice bushing in there. And this one fits in here just beautifully. Snaps right into place. So that's the right plate for this early model bike. And I'm going to install it now with a new gasket. So, I can't say it's just as well that I forgot it. I would have noticed it before putting everything together, but we're back on track. I'm going to put this in, and then I'm going to reload the primer. I'll do that next. Well, here we are again. Deja vu all over again. The primary drive, the alternator, the clutch, all installed as we were before, this time with the proper access door installed with a nice oil seal in it. So we're ready to close this up. And I decided I would adjust this chain. I like about 1/8 of an inch play in the chain. Right now it's a little bit high. So if we take this special tool, this one, I made this one out of a bolt. I actually bought one after that, but I gave it to Kevin. So I'm using the one that I made. It's just a bolt that I ground down to fit. It goes in this access hole here, and it fits into the slot on the adjuster. And so I'm just going to give that a quick turn. Probably one turn ought to do it. And it makes this arch go higher. And that gives us just about the 1/8 of an inch of a play that I like to have. So let me take this out. This is an early model bike. And it and it uses a plug shaped like this that goes into the hole. This is a big, long plug on this early model. The later models use a short plug, which is a different thread. There's a conflict there. If you put the wrong plug in the wrong bike, you break this case right here, snap that whole abutment off of there. So on this one, you can use a thin fiber washer and put it in and tighten it down. And it's actually much more convenient than the later models. Let's see, it's probably about a 1/2 inch there. And tighten it down. I'll try 7/16. That's not it. We'll try a Whitworth. Let's try Whitworth. We'll keep trying it till we find one. Okay, good. So we're going to tighten this down. And it goes in there smoothly. If it doesn't go in smoothly, it's the wrong one. And if you force it, you'll break the case right here. Literally, I'll make a marker here and show you. If you put the wrong plug in the wrong case, this whole abutment right here will break off. And there's no way to fix it without taking the engine out of the bike and having a really good welder weld it without messing up the threads inside. So be sure you know which plug goes in the adjuster hole on the bike you're working on, and don't trust anybody to give you the right one if you don't think they know what they're doing. So anyway, we're finished with the primary now, and I'm going to take that plug out, put some sealer in it, and put it back in, and then I'm going to put the cover on the primary, and the engine will be ready to be hoisted into the frame, and then I'll put the top end on it. So that's where we are. Okay, one last short video clip. This is how I'm going to leave it for now. I'll hoist I'll hoist the engine up into the air and drop it in the frame, hopefully tomorrow, as is, because I want to install the top end and actually start the motor and watch the clutch action and make sure everything in here is working properly before I put the primary cover on. So this is how it will be for a while, and our next little adventure will be putting it into the bike and reinstalling the top end. That is all.